Let me ask you something. What if you could land government contracts without actually doing the work yourself? Not bidding on projects you don't understand, not building a big team, not needing years and years of experience, just connecting the right people to the right opportunities and getting paid in the middle. That's exactly what we have today. Our guest did exactly that. He went from a special needs teacher, burned out, underpaid, and stuck in the system to landing $1 million government contracts as the middleman. No real background, no fancy connections, just a strategy most people have never heard of. And the crazy part is now he's teaching everyday people like yourself how to do the same thing. So if you've ever felt like there has to be another way to make money, you're going to pay attention to this video today. Let's get into it and bring it up to the stage, Dr. Wesley Fisher.
Thank you, Miss Stacia Lou. You're the legend, by the way. Thank you. I want to give you your flowers. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. Thank you so for so much you've done for me in my career when it comes to coaching. So just glad to be here.
Thank you. You've been a pleasure. I always tell people, don't tell everybody else, but Dr. West is my favorite.
Oh, appreciate that.
And I always say, yeah, he's a special needs teacher because I'm special too.
You do always say that.
But take me back.
We're all a little special. We're all a little special.
And that's what makes you a great coach too. So
I appreciate
what was life back when you were a special needs teacher? I'm sure it's very fulfilling before all this. Take me back to that time.
As a special needs teacher?
Yeah. What made you realize you needed to do something different?
So, I taught special education for 8 years here in Ohio, and I love what I did. That's my background. Even myself, I tell you guys the honest truth. I came up in special ed. I have dyslexia. I've struggled in education. So that was the reason why I got into education. But in education, I love it. I miss my kids, but as I tell my story all the time, it wasn't giving me the lifestyle that I wanted, right? So that's kind of how I discovered government contracting or saw government contracting back in 2020. But I already had taught for 8 years. I've been teaching for 8 years. I've been helping kids, and then I found this government contracting thing, and I didn't know it was going to be turned into an education. I didn't know I was going to start teaching that as well. I didn't know that at first. I just, found it, started doing it, started making money in government contracting. And it wasn't until I think I started government contracting in 2020. I didn't start teaching it until like 22. So that's kind of how I kind of got started into it, if that kind of answers your question.
But what was the breaking point at that point? So you loved it. I mean, you were fulfilling, but what was that breaking point? Like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I can tell you. So a lot of people can probably relate to this, especially if you're in education. So I've heard of this term called retire, rehire. And do you know what that is? You know what that is?
I know from you, but you can tell.
Yeah, from me. You know my story. I'm like, you remember what that is? Yeah. So retire, rehire. As a school teacher, unfortunately, you got folks who couldn't, live off the retirement that they had, right? So they retire and then they're right back at the school. They're working. They're not volunteering. They're working there. So my first year as an educator, I walked in, I met a couple teachers, and I'm like, so why are you still here? Like, you retired how many years ago? And it was like, oh yeah, I'm a retire, rehire. And I was like, oh, okay. So I can look forward to 30, 40 years from now to leaving this career and still being here and working. So when I realized that, I was like, that's not something I want to do. Now, mind you, I still worked for 8 years because I had to figure it out. So some of you guys are probably struggling, like trying to figure out what that business is going to be for you. It took me a while to figure it out. It took me 8 years to like figure it out. But over those 8 years, I finally got up to about 50K, I'll say 50K a year in teaching. And it was great. I had my master's degree at the time, and I was doing, my whole teaching gig. But it's just like, I knew that at the end of the day, it wasn't the lifestyle I wanted. So my breaking point was just kind of like, at the end of the day, I can see myself retiring, coming back into school. And that's not what I want for me and my family. So I said, I got to do something different. I got to step out there. And I was looking at everything. This. I was looking at pallet flipping. I was looking at drop shipping, Airbnb, everything, crypto, day trading, the candlesticks and all that stuff, real estate, all that. And then nothing wrong with any of that. I know millionaires in every single niche of that. Those they all work. I think one lesson I want to kind of tell people even right now is you got to find what works for you, right? What connects with your skill sets? What are you gravitating to? So I dabbled with a lot of things, but like I said, once I got to that breaking point, luckily I found government contracting. Yeah.
So, and that's a great segue. Like, how did you discover government contracting as the middleman? And at first, did it sound legit to you? Were you skeptical?
I was skeptical. You're right. I was skeptical like most people. But again, I told you guys about the pallet flipping. So if you guys ever see me on social media, I literally sold like 4840 wooden pallets, shipping containers. And I found out that I was the middleman there. I was like, oh, wait a second. So I would go to a company, and by the way, you can do this all over the country. Don't matter where you live, if you want to, but I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying. But I would go to a company, they would have a bunch of pallets in the back they were trying to throw away, they couldn't get rid of. They would load them to my truck, and then I would either take them to a pallet yard and sell them, or take them to another company and sell them there. So I was like, okay, I'm the person in the middle, right? And then the good old YouTube, as people coming across your channel right now. What's up, everybody? I'm browsing YouTube, and I hear about one of my mentors at the time was Jason White, and I hear middleman process. I hear the word middleman. I'm like, I think I know what that is. I'm kind of a middleman, and long story short, I come to find out you can be a middleman to the federal government, right? So you could be a middleman locally, state, or even federally. So when I found my mentor, he did a pop-up training in my backyard here in Cleveland, and I luckily, a whole funny story behind that. We can go down that road if we want to, but luckily I got in that room. I was able to sit next to him, learn from him, and my life has never been the same. Yeah.
So when I first met you, I was like, oh yeah, I'm actually the middleman too. A lot of times, because a lot of times I middleman different, design works, websites, contractor, freelancers, and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So you're not doing the work, then who actually does it? Government contracting.
Yeah. So as you know, it's the sub, so what we doing, so great point. What we do in government contracting, if those who are new, is simple. We find the government has a need. The government may say, hey, we want, well, you know what, I give you a fun example. A contract I just had in February. I just finished it. So I won a contract in February, for the month of February, for snowmobile rental. The government said they want 15 snowmobiles for the month of February for special forces to do whatever in Alaska. In Alaska, by the way. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I come across it on sam.gov, the website. And long story short, I'll be totally honest with you guys, when it comes to AI, I used AI to put my proposal together and to get my quote. I literally went to ChatGPT, I put it in the scope of work, and I said, hey, how much would this cost roughly? Give me some estimates, da 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 da. And long story short, it gave me a number, and I submitted it to the government. The government wanted 15 snowmobiles. They wanted 15 sleds. And here's the key. I have never been on a snowmobile in my life. Yep. Not yet. I mean, I want to. I would love to, but I've never ridden a snowmobile. I've never been on one. I don't own any snowmobiles. I don't live in Alaska. You're all the way in Hawaii. I'm here in Ohio. And mind you, I was in Texas the entire time that contract was going on. I was in Texas. So total opposite. My sub was like, oh, Wesley, today's -40. I'm like, really? -40? I can't even comprehend that. Like, okay. I'm from Ohio. That's cold. But yeah, anyway, I won that contract. I found my subcontractor. He got the sleds. He got them all, where they needed to be. He got the gas tanks. He got all the heaters and everything. They rent them out. They had fun with them. They did whatever they had to do with their training. At the end of the month, they gave them back to the sub. Long story short, I think my profit on that contract ended up being like $15,000. It was a 6-figure contract. It's like $50,000 contract. But my profit ended up being $15K. But the beautiful thing is, I didn't go to Alaska. I didn't touch a snowmobile. That's the middleman process.
Awesome. So I love what you brought up here because it's something new that I want to catch up with you on. You're using AI now. Like what, like
Yeah.
ChatGPT, most people are ChatGPT like it's Google now. And I'm sure there's a lot
Yeah.
of things that mistakes people are making
Yeah.
trying to use ChatGPT for a proposal or a bid.
Yeah.
What have you been discovering using AI?
Well, you're the queen of AI for real. You're the queen. I've been seeing your content. You're killing it. You're the queen of AI. If you guys better listen to y'all better listen to this woman. You're killing it. I'm a baby in AI, but yes, I've been messing around with prompts, and everyone's made this. Well, I won't say everyone, but I made the switch to Claude. So yeah, I'm using Claude now more than I'm using ChatGPT. But when it comes to what I do, at its simplest sense is that I'm taking a 400-page document or file and I'm making AI break it down to me simple. I'm saying, hey AI, hey Claude, here's my 5 documents, 400 pages. What does the government want? And it says the government wants 15 snowmobiles. They want to be at this address and they want these attachments. Got it. And then I use the AI even more. I said, well, because this is a funny story. Watch this. I was actually at the airport on my way to Texas when I won the contract. I'm sitting at the airport and I get a call, and the CEO is like, "Hey, do you know those snowmobiles are going to Alaska?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know that." Because he said, "Well, some other people didn't know." I'm like, "Yeah, they're going to Alaska." Okay, well, watch your email. You won the contract. I said, "All right, cool." But here's the part I freaked out. I was like, I don't think I have a sub because I use ChatGPT. Like I didn't have a sub. I was like,
that part. I was like,
that part. Yeah, there's no sub. So I was like, I'm freaking out. I'm not freaking out, but I'm like, okay, I got work to do. So before I got on the plane, I go to my ChatGPT. I say, hey, we won the contract. I need you to find 10 subs in the area right now, in draft the email, in draft the copy, and so I can send to them right now. And right there, like when I was at the airport, it drafted everything for me. Got on a plane. Luckily with Delta, we got Wi-Fi. While I'm on the plane, I'm sending all my messages via Facebook Messenger. I'm sending them all via email. By the time I landed in Houston, I didn't make calls until the next day. But by the time I landed into Houston, I had like 8 people lined up. Next day, made a few phone calls, got my sub. We're done.
Nice.
That's AI. That's the power of AI.
Awesome.
Next level.
I think a lot of people, I think they get worried about that part before even submitting a bid, right? Like, do I even have people for that? Yeah. You're not even doing that. That's the beauty of it. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You don't have to have the experience. And again, I'll tell people if people are watching, I don't always win contracts without subs. Let's be clear. Like I typically find a sub, get a quote, and then when I win, I have that sub. But now with AI, I'm going a lot faster. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I already won it and I haven't got a sub yet. So sometimes that happens. Yeah.
But those are things that through experience that you have that you could share with your students on what to do and what not to do. And
absolutely.
Like
absolutely. I love it. What are you doing, AI, man? I want to get some juice from you. You got the AI over here. You got the AI clones. You got everything going on. What's the play right now?
Yeah, as much as I like doing content and stuff like that, there's some days I don't feel like getting up. I'm sure you do too, right? Mm-hmm. So using an AI clone to be able to create content for you so that you can be more consistent. That's what I've been doing as well too. I love Claude as well too. I made the switch as well. I was actually using Claude before, just as far as like writing. I think writing Claude just does better at how it writes.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. And then now with a lot of the new changes, even it's like there's so much to learn, but you can code websites, and I'm the Go High Level queen as well too. So it's like integrating the two has been so powerful. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So there's still so much, but being able to create content and images and things like that. At first I started off with cloning myself and putting myself in different images. And in the beginning of the year, it's like you can put yourself in places or make yourself look like a certain, I try to obviously make it look more like myself, but put yourself
as much as you can. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That almost is like a vision board. So it's like, but then at the same time using it as content to be able to basically, I would actually do things a little backwards, because before it's like you can create, and you can do it both ways, but create content with the messaging that you want and then create an image for it. But what I started doing was kind of backwards. I would like find an image that I liked and then duplicate, cloned myself into that image and then write the content off based on how my experience with that image. So it's interesting. So that's what I teach in my I basically have like a little mini course that people can get that as well too. So the AI brand workshop for that. That's if you guys want that, just DM me.
I love it. I love it. They should. Absolutely. I mean, you helped me. I know you got other questions, but I want people to know, like, you helped me build this coaching side of it. Like, I know, how to make money in government contracting, and I've had success in government contracting, but you got to find people in your corner that can help you, skill things. When it comes to building online brands and building funnels and go high level and all the stuff we did, is like, I don't know how to build all that. 5-day challenges, we didn't know how to build all that. So, your stuff. So if people are, thinking about, getting to what you got to offer, I know you're doing all types of different stuff now.
Yeah.
They got to listen. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of, so when we first met, you tried to do a challenge yourself. You tried to do an online challenge. We spoke briefly, kind of gave you a few tips. Yeah. And then you're like, I can't do this.
Burned out, put out the rest of my hair. Yeah. When we first met, I remember I called you and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a challenge. And you told me some tips. He's like, well, you gave me a formula. Here's the formula to figure out how many you need to get in your challenge and this and that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try that. And then I did it, and it was just exhausting. It was just, no systems, no automations, no, just exhausting. So when we started working together, we really tore it up. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. And speaking of, this is a really good question. So, I mean, you're not really new to business. Like you said, you've tried these different entrepreneurial businesses. You've owned your own, like your family, care home business as well.
Yep.
What do you think the difference is between going from a traditional business to having a coaching business online?
I think it's just being online. I mean, I love it. Obviously we all got forced into it almost in 2020. Everyone went online. Everything went online. Some people stayed. Some people went back in person. I still have my home healthcare business here. I still have it. It's still brick and mortar. There's still people, still got to manage people. You still got to manage personalities, and you got to manage personalities online as well. But I really enjoy the online side of it. I mean, that's why I love government contracting, because, like, I'll say this: when I was a school teacher, I used to go to the jails because I had students that would get locked up. When I was a transition coordinator, I had students that would get locked up, and I would have to go in there, and I would have to give them their education, their different topics, and go over different things with them. And I had to, like, ask to get out. You know what I'm saying? You got to, like, request to get out. Like, hey, I ain't supposed to be here, so let me go ahead and get out of here. Like, that side of, like, physical, I was like, I didn't like that, right? But the funny thing is, people don't know this. My first government contract was for Catholic services in the federal prison. And even though I didn't make a huge amount of money, there's a whole story behind that. I still won the contract. It was a 5-year contract. And the cool thing I love, there's, like, every time that chaplain, shout out to Chaplain Richard if you're watching, every time Chaplain Richard would go into that federal prison in California, I got paid per hour. Now, he got paid as well. He got paid his hourly rate, but I got my markup on top of that. So every time he was there, I was getting paid. And where was I at? I was at home, or I was wherever in the world. So really, online coaching or online businesses, that's the only place you can have that. That's the only place you can, you can experience that. So I highly recommend it.
Definitely got easier after 2020. And because I've been doing this type of work technically, this 2008, actually, really just online marketing.
Oh, wow.
In general. And then really went on to, after 2020, it was like, how to use Zoom. Can you help me?
Yeah.
But speaking of, you're really still fairly new in government contracting, 2 years doing it. I always say learn, do, teach. Obviously, you can't teach
Yes.
people something you haven't done before. So you went
Right.
through that process of learning, doing it yourself. And
Yep.
then where was it where you're like, people are starting to ask me questions, like I should
Yeah.
really start a coaching business?
That's fun. That's really fun. It's so much I could say. I think one time I had some friends come over to my house and I was like, I'm gonna start coaching this. Like, I don't know. Like, you're right. When did the thought come be like, I'm gonna coach it? I don't know. I don't the exact moment. I don't know exactly. Oh no, it was. I know what it was. I was at a conference in Florida. And it was for a podcast. Actually, it was a podcasting conference, actually, but they had booths and they had speakers, and that's how I met one of my other mentors, Marquel Russell. He had a booth there, and it had a big old green sign that said, we've helped our students generate $7 billion or some crazy number, like in education and helping their students win and all this. I was like, all you got to do is know a skill and know how to help people make money with a skill. And I was like, I know a skill. Like, I know how to make money. So I was like, wait a second. Like, so all I got to do is know how to do something and I can make money with it. So I'm like, I was already proven. I already made millions of dollars, if you will, in government contracting. So when I saw that sign and I saw Marquel, I was like, okay, so what is this online coaching thing? Like, what tell me about that, right? So that's when I saw, like, okay, there's a way to, I don't know who says it. Is it Tony Robbins or is it Les Brown? Who says if you help someone get what
Jim
they
Rohn.
Jim Rohn. I'm sorry. Yeah, rest in peace. Jim Rohn. If you can help someone get what they want, you can have anything you want, right?
I'm sorry, Zig Ziglar. That's right. Zig Ziglar.
I was gonna say Jim Rohn got it from Zig Ziglar. There we go. That's what it is. Zig Ziglar. Yeah, Zig Ziglar. And that I really take that to heart. I know you do too. Yeah. It's like, if we can help other people get financial freedom through AI tools, through government contracting, through whatever we need to help them do, we also can, succeed from that as well. So I love coaching. Nothing wrong with it. I've always been an educator. You love coaching. So that's just kind of how I saw it. I saw that sign. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that this is a thing. I think it's hard for me sometimes to share what I do. Some people are like, what? What do you do? And then, they're like, well, can you help me become a millionaire too? Like, well, it's going to take a while. But
time. Yeah,
I do want to share with people that this industry, especially where it's going, is, a $600 billion industry. And wow. Especially with AI driven with social media and shifting, it's projected to surpass $1.5 trillion by 2030.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a massive market. So if you're ever thinking about taking your skill that and people don't realize they just need to be one step ahead, I mean, you're, the mentor that you were working with is probably was doing it for many, many years from you, but you only need to be one step ahead to start teaching other people how to do what you've successfully done.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And don't be ashamed. Like, I know, funny thing, when I started teaching, I don't know who, but someone was like, went to my mentor, was like, hey, Jason, do you know? And Jason knows this. So I'm saying, Jason, hey, do you know Wes is teaching government contracting? And they went to him in that type of way. And he was like, that's awesome. He was like, it's a blessing. He was like, that's great. Like, y'all, we want you guys to use the tools that we teach you. I know one of my friends was telling me the other day, is like, it's not stealing. Is if you're in someone's program, you're actually helping, produce, you're helping, make something even better. So we want you guys to learn from our skill sets and learn what we're doing and do it better. So I've had some students that are coaching, and I support them. And I think that if you guys are going to coach government contracting, go ahead and do it. If you're going to do something else, go ahead and do it. But like you said earlier, the biggest thing is go get success first. How do you say it? What you're saying?
Learn, do, teach.
Learn, do, teach. Yes. Learn, do, teach. I did have someone years ago walk up to me at a conference, and she was like, yeah, I really liked what you're doing. I think I'm gonna teach government contracting. And I was like, okay, cool. How many contracts do you want? Tell me about your contracts. No, I haven't won any contracts. This is literally what she said. And I was like, no, don't do that. Like, that's not like, no, don't go teach if you haven't did it. Like, and also go do it at a high level first and then teach it. So yeah, that's my advice for all you future coaches and mentors out there.
So, before we wrap up, I do want to ask you a couple more questions about what you do and the opportunity and what you've seen so far, because you've actually now gone through some cyclical, transitions in how the government works and things like that. Where do you see the opportunity going in the next few years?
Yeah, you're right. Politics, I try not to get political. We're not going to get too political here, but definitely politics can affect things, Elon and their, Doge and all this other stuff. It definitely affected us. I'll be lying if I say it didn't affect us, but just like in any business, you got ebbs and flows and things are ups and downs. The good thing is, I always tell people this. Last time I checked, the government, the US government's still here. If the US government goes away, then we got much bigger problems. So as long as the US government is still open, or and again, back to open, we keep closing. Government shutdowns every single, quarter, right? So I'll be honest with you, government shutdowns, they can affect us. Most of my contracts, your contract could be deemed necessary, so it doesn't really affect you, but sometimes it could affect you. But grand scheme of things, government contracting is going to be here. If that's something someone wants to get in, it's not going anywhere. As long as we're still here, it'll still be here. So I love the opportunity.
Awesome. I like it. And just thinking about it, the potential is, obviously huge in the type of, spread that you can make as a middleman. And that's why it's also so important to also still be responsible with the money that you earn. And I'm not sure like what you have, if someone wanted to learn more deeper about your program, what's the next step for them?
Yeah, I got another 5-day challenge coming up. Let's drop the link. No, 5-day middleman, 5daymiddleman.com. So I think that's the best way of just learning the intro stuff. Come hang out with us for 5 days. I'm not going to even date it because, we may have another one at some point in the future, but 5daymiddleman.com. That's be the best way to just find out some time with us, spend 5 days with us, learn the basic and see if this is going to be for you. A lot of times I tell people too, like government contracting may not be your thing. Maybe there's some other online business that's your thing because, some people are scared of the government. That's one. Some people are like, oh, it's very paperwork heavy. Like, yes, it is. But, I try to make things simple. But yeah, if you want to check me out, guys, I would come to a 5-day, come check them out. And then we'll go from there.
Awesome. All right. If your brain is spinning right now, and that's a good thing, because what you just heard, most people have never heard about. And that's why I'm so excited to work with so many different types of entrepreneurs. People always ask me, well, what's your niche? Well, it's just really like entrepreneurs that are experts on something. And so I actually work with multiple people who are specialized in government contracting in different specialties, many other doctors, health and wellness coaches, performance coaches, all types of different coaches and real estate entrepreneurs, for those of you who have been on the channel for a long time. And I didn't even really introduce myself. My name is Stacia Liu, formerly Stacia Kennedy again. And thanks for hanging out with us if you've watched this far. But don't ignore this. Here's the deal. If you're serious about getting started and learning this modality, there's lots of different ways you can make money, but I highly recommend Dr. Wesley Fisher here. Go to 5daymiddlemanchallenge.com and we'll get you into the next challenge and the next steps and resources. But this is definitely eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people who are coming across this. And don't forget, make sure to subscribe and share this to a friend who you think needs to know about this too. Real strategies, real money, no fluff. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Much love and aloha.
Bye-bye. Awesome.